Doc, last week you situated the Bible interpretation within the context in which it was written. So Frank Boating Ejakwa from Kumasi is asking, in that case, can we interpret the Bible within the context of our Ghanaian culture?
We can apply the Bible to our Ghanaian culture, but not interpret it in our Ghanaian culture, because the Bible was not written in a Ghanaian culture. The Bible interpretation is always done within the context within which it was written. So if, for example, Moses was a Ghanaian and lived in Accra, and God used him to write the scripture, or Isaiah was a Ghanaian and came from Kumasi, then if you want to understand the prophecy of Isaiah, you have to understand Ashanti culture, because there will be phrases he is using which for the people in Kumasi is purely understandable. But if you were even reading it and you were a Ga, you may not understand what Isaiah is saying, except you understand, okay, when an Ashanti man says this is what he means. And so we studied the scriptures within the context of the culture it was inspired in. But we applied it in the context of the culture we're living. So sometimes people try to interpret the scripture from their cultural point of view. And a lot of it happens in Ghana, where our spiritual worldview is imposed on the scriptures. So, for example, when you say my enemy in our culture, it will not be the same as a Jew in the days of Moses or the prophet saying, my enemy. Because you see, and even spiritual warfare is very different. You see, the Jews' enemy was primarily an opponent. So it would be a Philistine, a Midianite, or somebody in direct competition with him. But here, when we say my enemy, somebody will say, my enemy is the one who is hiding in my clothes. In other words, my enemy tends to be my family, my friend. So our concept of enemy is a bit different. So when we then translate our own idea of who an enemy is and impose it on the scripture, we're going to arrive at conclusions that are very, very different from what was intended by the writers of the scripture.